What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It's finished this evening. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Back to winning ways. A clean sheet, 3 points. 3 points now off the top four. A good end to what has been a terrible week. I've got George with me. George is a Villa fan. He's going to sort of dissect the game and give us his thoughts from the opposition side of things. And despite the smile on his face, he's not smiling on the inside. George, how are you doing, mate?
Not too well, I guess.
So, look, from a Villa perspective, obviously not ideal for you, but from us, a much improved performance and a much needed win. But I have to say, I was rather disappointed with sort of the way you played, because if anyone had been watching us in recent times, they know the best way to play against us is to come at us, and I didn't really think you did that at many points in the game.
Well, I think we've discussed this quite a bit. That is the way to play against Spurs, but when you haven't got the players that can do it, it's very difficult. I mean, we've got at the moment a squad of players that isn't good enough as a squad. I mean, as a starting 11, if you said every single player's fit, I think if we would have had the capabilities today to cause you a lot more damage. I think, obviously, I know you lot on the channel have spoken about it all week. I knew Grealish wasn't going to be fit. I knew he wasn't going to play. Dean Smith's been saying it for God knows how long now. Oh, he's ill last week. He's injured. He was never going to play, and it was all just a facade sort of thing. But someone like him would have made a bit of a difference today. But it was just easy for you. If I'm being honest, I said before the game, I looked at the lineups and I just went, Tottenham will win this game 1-0, 2-0. And you don't keep clean sheets at the moment. You're conceding goals for fun. Sanchez is a terrible defender, and today we made him look like a Paolo Maldini. So, to cut a long story short, I mean, if anything, the one thing I've learned from the game is I'm absolutely gutted, because at the moment I've got to watch Line of Duty on record. So,
So have I, now. There was a point before the game after this week where I was thinking, I don't know what I'm not sure what I should watch, Line of Duty season 6 or
I was tempted.
But no, I thought like you said, if Jack Grealish plays, most likely he's a different game. He's a wonderful footballer. I just thought we handled the game, managed the game really well. Players that hadn't played looked really good. Tanganga, Rodon, Højbjerg, obviously you could see that he'd had a rest and didn't play in midweek. So I just thought and Lucas Moura as well, I thought we managed the game. We went with 2 up top as well, and I was really interested to see if it would work. And at the end of the day, it did work. And I thought, like I just said, we in that second half, we controlled the game, we managed it, we limited your opportunities. Ollie Watkins, I thought, I think he's a good striker and will go on to be a good striker. But tonight, I thought we kept him very, very quiet. I know he didn't have Grealish to play with him, but when you've got players like you have, and players like Grealish, you've got to step up when they're not playing. And I thought, from your perspective, I'd be very disappointed with some of your attacking threats. I thought that they were marshalled really well by us.
Marshalled well, or just poor performances? I mean, before the game, you look at it. I mean, obviously Grealish being injured, that means you're left with 3 wingers at the club: Traore, Trezeguet, and El Ghazi. And if I'm being honest, the best one there is probably El Ghazi. I mean, you saw within 10 seconds of him coming on, he's had a shot from 25 yards that's made Lloris scrambling. Okay, yeah, it was always going wide, but I mean, Traore for me is just a pathetic excuse of a footballer. He can't cross a ball. He kept on it in the first man. He then got upset when he was taken off corners. And I won't lie, and it's a bad thing to say, but I was genuinely had a bit of a smile on my face last week when I found out that he could have been out for 3 to 4 weeks, because he doesn't offer us anything for the team. I mean, Trezeguet at the moment, I think he just went around today trying to foul everyone. I mean, I don't know if he got booked. I mean, if he didn't, I'd be bloody well shocked. But we haven't got that attacking spark. And I feel sorry for Watkins, because I think there's a lot of people obviously saying Patrick Bamford for England and stuff like that. I mean, if anything, I thought Ezri Konsa or Matt Targett would have been given a call up for England before.
Ezri Konsa, yeah.
So I'm surprised he was named in the squad. It was obviously a bit of a shock, but he's had a good season for us, and I don't doubt that it'll come on a lot further. But today, he just got no service, and when we're losing 2-0, we do the good old-fashioned thing and bring on Keenan Davis for 15 minutes. I mean, I don't know what that's going to do him any of the world of good, but it was a training game for you in the end. You didn't have to play well. You didn't, because at the moment, if you want 3 points, come and play Aston Villa.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like a training game, especially in that second half. But I just thought, like I said before, we managed the game well. And I thought, I'm going to ask you the question that I know we'll disagree on. The penalty. You say no. I say
I don't
yeah.
say no. I think saying no's. I mean, for me, first time looking at it, I've gone, "What are you doing, Matt Matt Cash?" I was thinking, really diving in there is just stupid because you know what Harry Kane. The more and more I look at it, the more and more suspect it looked. But for me, my first instinct was it was a penalty. I think the only reason now I'm thinking it isn't is because obviously you hear what people say, but I've seen one of the angles and he doesn't actually dive in to tackle him. He dives in because he assumes Kane's going to cross it. Okay, maybe that's naive then, thinking that he's going to cross the ball when you should be aware of whatever he's going to do. But Kane changes direction. But look, I've got no complaints. 1-0, 2-0. I wouldn't say you were massively the better team over 90 minutes, but you definitely deserve to win. I mean, it took us 60 minutes to have a shot on goal.
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, I thought it was a stonewall penalty. I don't know what he's doing, unnecessary, and in a point of the game where it's still, it's still in the balance and one chance, and you're back in your back level, and you've probably got, that the momentum. But moving on, we now have the international break, and obviously Newcastle away when we come back.
International break, get in there.
But it's kind of weird that we're in the middle of March, and that was the first time we played each other this season. You've still got to come back to us in a few weeks, which is really strange. But in terms of the game, again, I thought Spurs were just like I keep saying, we were just in control. And Ndombele had your midfielders on strings, and we reacted really well when Reguilon went off. I was a bit nervous with Ben Davies coming on, especially after his recent performances, but he didn't put a foot wrong. And I just thought that the desire was more. We just wanted it a bit more, and that's something that's actually been lacking in Tottenham's game recently. And every second ball, we wanted it more. The loose balls, the desire to win headers, the desire to make challenges, the desire to chase the ball down. I just thought from a Tottenham point of view, there was much more desire there than Aston Villa. You just looked like a team out of ideas, that had sort of similar in a way to Southampton, who had that great start to the season and slowly faded away. It looks like it might be happening to you guys a bit.
Well, that's the worrying thing because, I mean, I won't lie, I've got greedy this season. I mean, start of the season, if you'd have said to me, oh, yeah, you're going to finish 14th, 15th, I'd have gone, yeah, go on, I'll take it now. But we made 5 signings in the summer. Every single one of them, bar Traore, in my opinion, have come in. They've hit the ground running. They've been fantastic for us. And when you play your first 4 games and you get a win against Fulham, Sheffield United, Liverpool and Leicester, you're starting to think, well, hang on a minute, is this... I mean, really, it was ever since we had that coronavirus outbreak in the training ground. Because really, I mean, going into the new year, I mean, I've said this all season, I don't think, for me, we've been outplayed by any of the big teams as such. I think we've competed in all games, and that even says when we played Man City, they won from that silly offside goal, and even Man United away, they won for a penalty that never was. But it seems to be that we played better today than we did in our previous game against Newcastle. And I always knew we would because we seem to up our game against the better teams in the league. And I don't know why that is, but you're slowly thinking now that you could end up doing a Southampton. I mean, I'm looking at, we've got Fulham at home next. I'm not backing us to win that, even with Grealish back for that game. And I just think that I have got greedy because I'm assuming that that teams are out. Everyone's doing so poor this season, so you're never going to have a better chance of getting into Europe. And you just felt that games like this now, they're the 6-pointers. It's not the games against your Fulhams because we're not actually in a relegation battle now. We are safe. We've got 41 points, but you expect more. And even without Grealish, I mean, we are just a one-man team. I expect a better performance. We'd put more into it, but sadly, that's not the case. We've got too many players at the moment that are just out of form and just don't look interested. I mean, a few of them need to be dropped, but you can't drop all of them because the replacements are just sadly not good enough. So, international break coming up, and if anything, I think we're probably the club that are looking forward to it more than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear because look, a few months ago, I was watching Villa thinking you're one of the best teams to watch in the league, and now I look at you and think, God, what's happened? But let me just get. Huh?
Probably the worst team to watch at the moment, if anything.
Yeah. Let me just get your thoughts on us. I think we've got now, obviously, we crashed out of Europe in embarrassing ways on Thursday. and obviously lost the derby as well, which that happens. It was the performance, I think, that got on everyone's nerves and was disappointed everyone. But Thursday night was a disgrace. And obviously we now don't have Europe to fight for. However, we do still have a cup final, and we are now just 3 points off the top four. What do you think from an outsider, from a neutral point of view? Do you think Spurs will win that cup final? Obviously City at City, but you never know. And can we get in the top four?
You can definitely win the cup. It's a one-off game. Look, if Man City turn up, it doesn't matter if you turn up; they'll beat you. They can, if you turn up and Man City turn up, they can beat you 6-0 if they really want to. They've got those sort of players on the pitch that can do that. But it's a one-off game. I mean, you played them at the Etihad, you looked awful. You played them at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you look great. So there's two different ends of the spectrum there. Depends on how you play in that game. If you turn up and they don't, you've got every bit of chance of beating them. And from family having Arsenal fans, I know they're really not hoping that you win that at all. Top four, it's going to be tough for you. And the reason being, I think it's your defence more than anything. I think you got lucky tonight as such, because you came up against a team that at the moment are struggling for goals. I think if you'd have played like you did tonight against a team around the sort of area that we are in the league, but maybe playing a bit better, I think you might have struggled defensively, but you weren't tested. But you've got every chance of getting there, though. I think you'll definitely get into a European spot if you obviously don't cup. But I think top four is a big ask, because I think off the top of my head, and I know that Leicester have got some players to come back from injury, I think Chelsea, Leicester, Man United and Man City are all a better team than you at the moment. And I mean, you look at West Ham today, I know they were 3-0 up and threw it away, but you have to say West Ham probably look a more effective team and square pegs and square holes than you. But by all means, you look at the quality that you've got. You've got Son, Kane. I mean, when Bale's on form, he's one of the best players in the world, just let alone the league. So by all means, of course you can get into the Champions League, but it'd be difficult. But Mourinho's the best manager for it.
I'll leave the Mourinho conversation for another day. One thing I'll just say on that, I think despite the disappointment of Thursday night, the major disappointment, I think maybe the one thing it could do is not having those extra games. Look, I think they said it in commentary, that was our 48th game of the season tonight, whereas you've played 32. So that's where obviously tired legs come in, but obviously without you, I mean, talking about that cup final, City will have their game. If they get through to the semi-final, which I'm sure they will, they'll have a semi-final with either Bayern or PSG in and around either the week before or the week after the cup final with a game. I think it might even be against you guys a few days before in midweek at Villa Park. So it'll be interesting. And look, you never know. I don't think we can think about finishing in the top four just yet, but you never know. Why not? But we've got Newcastle United away next. And George, thank you very much for joining me for this post-match discussion. Commiserations is what I'll say. You know, I've got the bragging rights over you now.
You certainly got the bragging rights at the moment. I mean, I'm glad.
But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, George, for joining me. It's finished Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. And as always, come on, you Spurs.